hadn't said a word about what had happened when he had accidentally touched my Game Boy, or the blind white terror he had been thrown into when the music had started. On my last visit to the hospital before school on the second day, I was left alone in the room with him, while my mom had some private talk with the doctor about precautions to take whenever this happens again, if it happens again. I sat in a chair next to the bed where he was staring at the ceiling, but then suddenly he sat up, making me flinch. "Hey," he said. "Angie, go in my room when you get home." I didn't understand what he meant, and then I remembered the things we hadn't packed up and brought in, the game, and the hacking tool under his bed. Get rid of them. I don't ever want to play with them again. His voice was so weary and desperate. He sounded like an old man on his deathbed. My poor damaged little brother. How could I refuse? Promise you'll get rid of them? Okay, I promise. I was taken to school late, and through the whole day I only had my promise to him in my head. I didn't know it at the time, but this would be the last time that I could ever play the big sister role and help him out. I just had to get home, get rid of that game. But as the day went on, a sick curiosity started to go through my own head. What could possibly have happened to that game that scared him so badly? I was scared myself, but I just had to know. I had to. I got home, went right into his room, bent on uncovering whatever horror was waiting for me. Mom had since vacuumed the room, and the cartridge and Game Shark were no longer there. Got down, crawled under the bed, feeling timid, but holding on to the promise I had made as my badge of courage. Under the bed, there was enough dust to make me cough, enough old Legos and various other toys that I couldn't set my elbow down without landing it on something. But I finally saw it. The Game Shark and the Game Boy. They'd been shoved into the corner, on top of a notebook that looked too new to have been down here long. Unthinking, I grabbed the corner of the paper and dragged it out everything with me, still wheezing from the dust. They looked so innocent. Simple toys in a simple notebook. When I set Silver Version and the Game Shark on the floor, I took a closer look at the notebook. On it were scrawled at least 20 different cheat codes, but one had been scratched out. Sharpie, pen, everything. Even ripped a little. He had really tried to take it out. The marker had been pressed to the paper so hard that the ink was soaked through almost all of the pages behind it, almost 2/3 through the weight of the cardstock back cover. But pen, it has a way of sticking around. I picked up the notebook and tilted it backward in the light, and the reflective surface of the Sharpie revealed the indents that had been left where he'd written. The coat was an unintelligible mess of letters and numbers, but the word next to it confused me. Easter egg. Snow on Mount Silver. I remember what he had said when I'd found him. He'd been raving about white, white, then black. Could he mean snow? Even though it was only August and the temperature was still climbing to 90 degrees every day, a chill ran down my spine. Did I dare? I picked up everything and brought it to my room, laid it out on the carpet in front of me with my own Game Boy next to it. For a long time I just stared at the cartridge. The longer I looked, the more maniacal Lugia's face became on the sticker, like some kind of twisted grin, like it was daring me to find out what had happened to my brother. I was 14 years old. Did I really want to tempt fate and risk ending up like he did? I glared down at Lugia for a while longer. I had to see. I slid gold out of my Game Boy and stuck silver in its place. It took me about 15 minutes to muster up the courage to turn it on. It started up normally. I left the sound on low, too afraid of what I might hear to keep it up the full way, and too curious to turn it the whole way off. The title screen was normal. Lugia again, but somehow menacing, despite my common sense telling me it was exactly the same picture as every single other time I started up the game. How bad could this be? His note said Easter egg. Didn't that mean that the coding was already in the game? The menu came up, still absolutely normal. His character was Blake, with a mostly filled Pokedex, but the time was odd. 99999? I knew he couldn't have been playing that long. I'd barely logged 50 hours on my own game and I was at the Elite Four. And I was playing slowly. Probably the result of his hacking messed up his file. Eh, whatever. The game had started up, and the first thing I noticed was the prolonged black screen. It took almost a minute for anything to change, and there was no sound at all. The hairs on the back of my neck were standing up already, but it was too late to turn back. Well, guys, that was part two. Part three's coming out tomorrow. I was gonna record more, but I don't know if you can tell in my voice, I'm really sick. So, yeah. Part three might come out tomorrow. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.